So what's going on here? Is it bottoming out?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, if I look at the chart, and that's probably what most people are looking at, and listen to the news who come out and some new very good projects, I believe we have seen kind of a bottom, yes.
All right, we're going to talk about the projects in just a moment, but we're nowhere near a bullish trend for Bitcoin, especially.
No, and
it would have to gain quite a bit more.
Yes, and I'm absolutely happy with that. I mean, we had such a high volatility before, and most people were scared away because of the high volatility. So if markets or if the volatility comes down a little bit, that's absolutely fine for me. OK,
well, you're always going to be positive on these kind of figures, but I'm wondering, what are the main influences on crypto value currently?
One, as I said, probably one are charts. Traders are looking at charts, as you don't have any other valuation method right now. Then the second are news. It's driven by news, and we see good, promising projects out there. So
such as?
We haven't seen any diverse or adverse indication of regulators. So regulators are now supporting it or issuing laws supporting cryptocurrencies, that everything's done in a proper way. Then we had seen projects like the JP Morgan coin, which was pretty interesting.
Were you surprised by JP Morgan's?
Yes, I was. So far, Jamie Dimon always said, yeah, it's a scam.
He called it a fraud.
Never do it. I will fire every employee who owns cryptocurrencies. And out of the sudden, surprise, surprise, we issue our own coin.
Why do you think they did this? Are they just jumping on the bandwagon? Is this a game changer?
I think it's kind of a sign of a spring, right? People are now realizing that it's not all is bad and that there are some opportunities out there. And for banks especially, I mean, they need to offer their clients something. That's one part. On the cryptocurrency part, the really decentralized cryptocurrencies part. But then you have the whole efficiency part, where you can put in a blockchain and which enables or increases your efficiency within a bank, which is a very good thing. And as we heard from before, cost pressure is still very high within the banks.
OK, well, let's just talk about Swisscom, the partnership there, because Swisscom is getting together with Sygnum and the German stock exchange, and they're going to offer this ecosystem where all assets, not just cryptocurrencies, can kind of be digitized. Is this a big deal?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, Swiss Exchange announced that a year ago, and now they're going to go live, hopefully, this year. So they are quite progressed already in their project. But that's just a sign that you have the traditional institutions coming in and building those ecosystems and partnerships between these incumbents and these new fintechs. And I think that's very impressive. What is very impressive is that the German exchange, Deutsche Börse, partnered up with Swisscom.
Sure.
And I'm wondering where Six is.
Well, yeah, I mean, that was going to be my next question to you. What do you think is going on here?
We'll see. Maybe we're going to have some announcement, or Six will have some announcements soon. As well, in Singapore, I'm going to be in Singapore next week. SGX is working on the same project. So globally, people or traditional institutions, financial market infrastructure providers, are moving in that space. And I think that's
Switzerland's at the forefront, it sounds like.
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
So why is tokenizing your own assets beneficial?
It makes the whole process of transferring, owning, etc., much easier. And I think it's important that people can get back the power to themselves. Right now, they're just relying on banks, and you cannot tell your bank to give you the shares you own, right? The system doesn't work like that. But with digitized assets, with blockchain-based assets, you can own them yourself. You can transfer them with other people. And you can move to another bank if you want. If you're not happy with your bank anymore, it goes very fast and very easy. And you can just tokenize all the assets which are non-bankable at the moment.
Such as?
Private equity, real estate, cars, whatever you can imagine.
Is this lower risk necessarily to do this?
Depends on...
Taking back control potentially could be?
In the end, I still believe most of the people will keep their assets with a bank because that's one of the main functionalities of a bank, safekeeping your clients' assets. If you want to keep your assets yourself, you need to invest in the security to store them or to keep them. But on the banking side as well, not only liquidity, or not only efficiency is one topic, but as well, you can settle T+0. So you don't have this, remember during the financial crisis where no bank was really aware how many risk assets they had with another bank, outstanding positions. So that's solved then.
So that potentially is lower risk then?
For the bank, yes.
OK, let's talk about, I mean, we talked about some of the influences on cryptocurrencies at the moment. What about what's going on in Venezuela?
I mean, the IMF forecasts a 10 million% inflation this year. That's massive. And people are looking for alternatives. So far, they bought US dollars. As soon as they got their bolivars, they changed it in US dollars. But things are changing now. People are start to buying Bitcoin. That's much more transferable, much easy to carry. And I mean, we are here in Switzerland, we have a very stable Swiss franc, so there's no need to buy Bitcoins as a hedge. But people like in Venezuela, they are looking for alternatives.
Are you seeing that?
Yes, definitely. The turnover in Venezuela has increased massively.
And what other countries?
Turkey. They had some losses on the valuation.
Yes, they've gone into recession today.
Zimbabwe and. So there are many countries where are problems.
OK, so what about development here within Switzerland? You know, I mean, if we've got a very stable currency, is the big push for cryptocurrencies to attract institutional investors?
I think first you need to have the infrastructure for institutional investors. So an institutional investor cannot put his assets on his smartphone, right? They need the infrastructure, they need banks, they need exchanges, regulated exchanges, and regulated market participants. And then they can move in. And I think that's happening right now.
Do you think there's much trust by institutional investors yet in the crypto arena?
No, I mean, so far there were only startups and young companies active in that space. But we had the announcement from Vontobel offering custody. Then we had the announcement from Julius Baer last week or a few weeks back. Then we had Swissquote announcing that they offer crypto custody for institutional clients by the 21st of March, which is amazing. I believe Swissquote. They're a professional and regulated bank.
I mean, why do you think there's a bit of a pickup then now?
I think the banks just needed some time to really assess possible solutions, to better understand the space. And they missed the hype in 2017. So they had no budget to assess it or build projects in 2018, but now they got allocated budget in 2019. That's why we have so many RFPs from around the world asking us to provide them solutions.
OK, and if we just remember the graph that we saw at the beginning of our conversation, where do you think it's going to go from here?
I'm probably very optimistic on that one.
Of course you are.
Very honestly, I think everyone heard about it. Everyone learned what Bitcoin is. It's on everyone's mind. Correlation is zero to traditional assets. So from a modern portfolio theory, it makes absolutely sense to invest a little part of your portfolio into digital assets.